Oh my goodness.
We're
We're
here.
live. We're
Wow.
here.
Completely technical
final-
difficulty free.
Yeah, completely.
Yes.
Holy cow.
Uh,
Wow. We're here. I can't believe it. I forgot to turn off my music. There we go.
Oh my god.
We're here.
Look how good
At the
that slideshow
tell-all.
looks.
I know. Look
Nice
at all
job,
that
ATP.
cool art.
Also
All
Tori,
of-
because Tori made a lot of that art, so nice
Oh.
job.
Hey, Tori did all the work. I just put it together.
Yeah.
Still, you put it together. That's something.
Teamwork makes the dream work. What's gonna work? Team.
I like how somehow Winslow looks the youngest. Like, he looks both the oldest and the youngest in this photo.
Dude, in this, like, when I was working on this, as soon as I started drawing, like, Winslow, I was like, why does he look like a Dragon Ball Z character, though?
He does! He does!
See it.
Oh my god!
Like, he's literally like every old man from Dragon Ball Z.
Honestly, he was giving me Krillin vibes.
Yeah, like, I was like,
He looks like
afterwards,
old Krillin.
I was like, huh. I didn't mean to do that. And then
And then
Miles
you
is
made Miles so tired.
it made
He had
Miles
to put up with our
myself
shit.
at this point. Oh, wow. It's wild.
Miles just had to
Uh.
put up with too much shit.
Yeah.
Hey,
Wow.
Crash.
Everyone is a Miles.
True. What a good time. Such memories. Oh, we get to talk about all of this.
Tori,
So
before we
good.
get too far into it, I have a question for you. What's
Yeah.
your favorite? Like, since we're talking about art,
Mhm.
what was your favorite promo that you did?
Oh,
And like,
God.
what was your favorite character to draw? Was it Winslow? Because I feel like it might have been Winslow.
So Winslow was actually not my favorite character to draw. Dude, sorry, Winslow. Favorite promo art. Oh God, there's so many good ones. Promo art throughout this because I think that Janaya piece is probably one of my favorites as well. I
Yeah.
worked really hard
Yeah.
on that.
Mhm.
There's the one with the dragon with where you guys fought with Harold, the dragon
Priscilla.
piece. That one was really
Yeah.
fun. I loved this whole series as well, or like second series of Starting Soon and all of that
Oh,
was really good and fun.
Ooh, this splash of color one.
Oh, that looks awesome.
Dude, my favorite piece, though, I would have to say, is actually something that we did on the promo arts, but I don't even think they're in the slideshow, was the 4-panel series of all the characters with, like, the blood. Those had to be my favorite to draw. Those were great. And so was this series
Me.
that's up there right
Oh,
now,
that.
which is really good. Ah, what fun. But yeah, no. I think the Blood series was probably one of my favorites. But we're actually going to get into the promo art because there was a lot of fun stuff with it that,
A lot of art.
oh yeah, there's a lot of
yeah.
art and there's a lot of fun things with it. So let's
Sorry to
kinda,
derail.
yep, no, you're good. That's why we're here. We're here to tell it all and have
Derail.
so much fun, and just watching this whole slideshow is so cute. I'm like, wow. Because not only is it a progression of the campaign, it's also a progression of my own artwork. And I'm like, wow, this is really I feel like
Aw.
I'm dying or something. Like this is very like like memorial service of like my old art. And I'm like, damn, it was good to start with, but damn, I got better. I'm fucking great. And I'm like, thank God. But no. Yeah, it's really nice just to watch the progression of the campaign
It's
and
cool.
of all the characters and all the iterations and designs that they went through and everything. It was just fun. It was so fun making all of it, and I can't wait because near the end, we're gonna talk about what's upcoming for D&D stuff, and oh boy, I'm fucked. But, yeah. So, where do we want to start, guys? Do we want to start with just going over the ending,
Yeah,
or
let's start
Yeah.
there.
something I would
Yes.
also like to actually start with the true starting of it all?
Well,
The total pages of all of my D&D stuff for all of my notes for this campaign, 167 pages. Words, 53,527 words were written in this campaign. Oh,
And
look.
Oh,
Damn. Yep. Oh, there it is. The blood ones are in this. I could have sworn they weren't, but they are.
yeah.
Those are my
I think
favorites.
I had them.
Yeah.
Just on my person.
Yep. So yeah, they're there. They're my favorites. I love them. They were super fun to do. Oh, and the final piece. Ooh, so good. So good. All right. Damn, I'm great. All right. Let's start with the ending, guys.
yeah, so I wanted to ask, did you have multiple endings planned, or did you just have the one?
So, let's get right into it. Miles, aka that one guy, because now I can just use y'all normal names.
Yeah, you
normie
have to
names.
now.
I know, because it's done. I have to use
Quote
normie
unquote
names.
normie.
Normie names. So, did I have multiple endings planned? Well, hate to break it to you guys. I kind of pulled a deadly premonition on y'all's ass. And actually, in the first puzzle that you guys really got in session 5, I gave the ending away with the answer of the puzzle, which was underneath the table in the church. The
What?
past, the present, and the future. It
The
was
one
right
time-
there. The whole time it was right there at the beginning. And session 5 was right when the ending was. I had solidified the ending by session 5. And I knew what the ending was going to be. I rewrote several times on how the fuck y'all got there, but I knew we were gonna end up at this portion. And I had 3 different endings planned. One where we didn't get to conclude it for some reason. So I prepared for if we did not get to fully conclude and like we just had to stop the campaign randomly or for whatever reason. I had an ending planned for that. There's obviously the ending you guys got. And then there was a third ending that I had planned but scrapped and left it to the dust. And left
Ooh.
it on the cutting room floor. So, because there was an ending where, I guess in theory it was the good ending, where we would then in the next campaign almost continue on in this world in the same iteration. But hey, we didn't do that. We fucked up. You guys may or may not have gotten the bad ending.
What?
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, you guys kind of got the bad ending.
Somehow that's not surprising.
But did
No.
you deserve it?
But
I think not.
not Haribo. Haribo and Winslow probably did not deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zubidar Miles
Well-
probably deserved to burn in many different versions of hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was as soon as
Haribo and
you
Winslow were
guys-
just there by happenstance.
kinda, but no, the bad ending was essentially you guys harming the person you were supposed to protect, and Miles straight murdered him.
Dang it, Miles!
And I was like,
Uh,
okay.
how many times did you fucking stab him? I can't tell you how many times I paused when I rewatched the stream to fucking just to laugh. It got to the point where he wasn't even saying it like it was an action. It was just a matter of fact. I put him down and then I stabbed him again like that.
Yeah.
That literally came out of your mouth at one point. Like it was just that quick.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, I had a plan for the dagger to be like a magic weapon that was, in theory, I was trying to infuse it with a spell to basically separate Hamlet from whatever he was becoming. That was my thought process behind it.
Mhm.
But I kept rolling 4s, so I never found out what happened with the dagger. So
It was truly unfortunate. It
yeah.
doesn't help that also you kind of did it, you kind of clutched it though, because no matter what, you guys were heading down the bad path because throughout that whole final fight on Hamlet's turn, he was rolling those 20s. I was just rolling that 20 or just a d20 to see what was going on. Ultimately, he was battling with himself to not just use the egg's power, which he's not supposed to do. And so the whole time he kept rolling really low, and I was like, oh no, this is getting nerve-wracking because he had rolls in total, and then it was going to be
Oh,
done. And I think
Oh.
we got to about 15, and he only had like 2 succeeding. Like he was losing hard, and I was like, oh no. Oh
damn.
no.
Fate was
It's-
against
We
us.
suck.
yeah.
We were
So no
so
matter what.
close.
Yeah.
Do I?
Dang it,
Can I,
Miles!
No,
can I
no,
ask a quick
he was
question?
losing. I didn't do anything wrong because he was gonna fuck up anyway.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I have a question about what may have affected our ending because I remember you, Hamlet. I didn't speak about this in the previous tell-all because it could have led to spoilers to this point.
Yeah.
But you had Hamlet tell Zeminiar at one point that the way the world was when Gilly died was like fine, and that she wasn't necessary. All this like basically she needed to stay dead, and that's why Zeminiar didn't wish for her back like everyone else did.
Mm-hmm.
Was was her coming back to life part of what damned our story?
Yes and no. Like it definitely was. It was a coin flip because ultimately you bringing her back did change a lot, as you saw. Like the
Yeah.
queen was then gone instead. A lot of things that you guys wished for obviously happened. But
Yay.
so it changed the whole outcome of the world. So ultimately, had you guys not wished for anything to change, you guys would have stayed on your normal timeline and it would have definitely affected your ending. But it came
But that
down to
wasn't
that
gonna
final
happen.
fight. Yeah, the final fight, I always knew I wanted the final session to be a fight, like for sure. And I was like, oh yeah, final session, because this group also was just full of chaos and destruction. So it
Mhm.
was like truly the
Not
only way
wrong.
that you guys should have went out was in a blaze of glory. But
Oh,
yeah, no.
also, I'm reminded. I think Miles's request was to touch the egg, and allegedly he got to touch it. But then I don't remember like if I ever asked what the form of that was. Like, what was
Yeah.
the circumstance that he touched it in? What form was it?
I mean, it would have just been in its own like corporeal form at that point,
Which is
because you're
to
wanting to
say,
touch something that is existent but is currently being protected by someone like in their own body. So you just pretty much touch Hamlet and you're like, howdy, touch the egg. So
Yeah,
it
so,
was
I
very
Sure,
mean-
right now is the Patrick meme from SpongeBob where he's just going around touching Jeffrey Jellyfish.
kinda. Kinda.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that was never clear to me either, because you let me know at one point that Hamlet was the protector, but I never realized that the egg just dwelt within the protector, which
Yeah.
maybe wasn't supposed to be realized, but
It was all up to interpretation.
I
The
don't-
religion on it, I left it very much interpretative onto the person because, we love a good symbolism and mockery of current day
yeah,
religion.
I mean, there was never
So-
any evidence for what it was going to be.
Yeah. No, it was left the own devices. For sure. But yeah. Ending. How we all feeling about it? Because I know how I feel about it.
Uh-huh.
Talk to me, team.
Oh my god.
So, quick question before we get to like the full ass ending, was like okay, I have to know to fill in some blanks on my own character's story.
Yeah.
When it comes to Solomon, would he have just been cool with us finding him if he didn't think that there was a member of the team that was constantly trying to slit his throat. Because like every time we ran into him, it seems like he just would knock us out and run and not kill us. And then when he finally did stick around us, he immediately was chill the second we said, "Hey, we don't want to fight."
Kinda, yeah. I left
Ah,
him there. Yeah. He was
so like, what
kinda
was?
like the whole time he was chill.
But then why did
And
he attack Harbo in the first place and Zeminiar? Like not in the campaign, but in their backstories.
yeah, that was what they wrote. They wrote him in as like totally going after him, and I was like, okay, cool,
But
I'll
then-
use this guy.
But then why wasn't he like that in the actual story? I don't understand. If they wrote him in like that, then why wasn't he like that?
Yeah,
mean-
it makes sense for my character because like he was a religious dude, and even before Zeminiar was still a thief and a bastard. So it makes sense for Zeminiar. But why Haribo?
Haribo was like, yo, I got this curse, homie. And that's all I knew. I was like, he cursed him? Okay. Well, I don't know why. But he was cursed. For
I
the
thought you were.
longest
I thought you wrote in the
Story.
motive.
Yeah, I did.
time. You did?
I went in my backstory, and it was essentially Haribo went into, because at one point Solomon used to be the wizard in the woods that Haribo
Yeah.
was raised in. So
Correct.
Haribo snuck into, Solomon's whole house to get a cure for one of his friends who was dying.
That's right. Yeah.
And Solomon's like, "You're a Christmas light now."
Yeah, to
Pretty much.
punish
Okay.
Haribo, that's what happened.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you both were responsible for
Yeah.
your own.
Probably, yeah,
Oh.
yeah, probably.
Kinda.
That seems
were.
right.
Yep. So they did it on themselves. Like he had reason
Yeah,
to be an
true.
asshole, but he was
Yep.
never like
He was
outwardly an
never an
asshole.
enemy. Was
He
he
was out-
also from the past?
Yeah, kinda.
How far
Damn
back
it!
in
We
the
could have
past?
had
Like,
like 1,000 years.
Yeah. I mean, he was an Asmar, so they kind of live like for fuck's sake forever. So
Yeah.
if I remember correctly, they do. At least in my universe, they do. So
Oh, I thought.
your god.
I just thought that he lived at the same time that Zeminiar lived. I can't remember if it was the Pope or something else that said that Zeminiar's time was like 1,000 years prior or something
Yeah.
like that.
I think that
Miniar
was,
ended up.
I think that was mentioned in the story. Yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was definitely when you guys did your 5-year thing, you found out family wise. You found out a bunch of fun information on that journey.
I think.
And
Oh,
after
yeah.
that-
I just
time
like
skip.
that journey. The things that I learned on that journey are why I knew to let God, why can't I remember her name? The dragon
Janaya.
goddess.
Janaya.
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 yeah. That's why I knew when that was why Zeminiar kept calling her out and was basically forcing her hand to talk to us. Was because he knew, like he had uncovered that and the possibility that she was with Ginger, but he thought that Kefi was also there. He didn't know that Kefi had yet to be born yet in this time. He should have known if he would have remembered, because I looked back and we definitely would have known that he wasn't alive yet if I thought about it.
For sure. Wild times.
Because
Dude, it's wild.
he was like fucking 5 when we went into the future.
Yeah.
Like he
was a
was,
wee
he,
baby.
he was like -2 years old when we got there.
Yeah.
So did you ever intend for us to win that final fight? And what was
Yeah.
supposed to happen with? What was supposed to happen with Hamlet if he failed all those checks? You were starting to say, but you.
So if he would have failed the checks, or at least failed majority of them, like regardless, you guys would have had the same ending. It just wouldn't have been like the initiation wouldn't have been from you guys stabbing him. There was a whole I had written that I'm pretty sure I deleted right when you stabbed him, of course, because I'm a dummy. But ultimately, it was he just kind of loses it, and from there, he snaps like Solomon did, And ultimately, dragons stopped fighting, or AKA Janaya and the other dragon that was there, the other Hamlet, essentially. And they would stop fighting, and pretty much from there, it would have been like a rumbling again. And everything would have just went white for you guys. And looking down, you would have seen the plant, and it would have just cycled there, except he would have just ended things himself. He would have ended that
Oh.
cycle himself, because he, at that point, said used the egg, which he's not supposed to do. Hence why the
So what
cycle
would have
keeps
happened?
continuing.
Like,
So the same exact thing would have happened in your guys' end. Like, you would have seen the plant sitting down there, and you would have risen up and had the exact same ending. Because at that point, the cycle, we did not succeed in
Yeah.
stopping the cycle. So hence why at the
What
end,
the
you're seeing
and
a
what
new
would have
baby
happened
Hamlet.
to Hamlet
Yeah.
if he'd used the egg?
He would have died just like everything else.
Oh well.
Yeah.
History
What if he
repeats
rolled
itself.
well the
Yeah,
whole time?
he's technically Cthulhu. When he dies, we all die, and then it restarts because he wakes up again.
Also, you say that you had intentions of us winning the fight, but the fight's not winnable for like 10 level characters cannot win a fight against 2 adult dragons.
Oh no, I was nerfing them. Like,
I
it was just
know
unfortunate.
it's not
Yeah.
it's not winnable.
Eh,
It's
there's
still not
ways.
winnable. As if you use the breath weapon, you almost one shot the whole party.
Oh yeah. No.
If both of them use
He
their
did
breath
pretty much
weapons,
one shot us.
yeah, if both
Yeah.
of them use their breath weapons, we both get one shot. Or all of us absolutely do. So I think the balance on that last fight was definitely not winnable. There
That's
was
fair.
never a chance.
That's fair. You guys were doing some pretty good damage on him though when you did hit him. So, because I had
Yeah,
nerfed
we
their
were-
health more than anything. I nerfed down their health quite a bit.
I think the health
So-
would have been fine. It's the damage you have to nerf if you're going to nerf an encounter
Yeah.
like that.
That's fair. No, I wanted it to be challenging though. Like, I didn't want it just to be a cakewalk, because I also knew
It was
that
a
the whole
cakewalk
last
for
session.
them.
Yeah.
There was no challenge for them.
Yeah. I figured less health on their end means less
Yeah, we-
shots on your end.
We got her to be Janaya to be sassy. I did anyways. She fucking
Yeah.
didn't she like oh hell no me and fucking wipe me out after that? Or
Pretty
was
much.
that when she? No, she chewed me first. That's right.
Yeah,
Zaminyar went
she
out
straight-
gruesome.
Yeah.
She
She got
chewed me and then
munched
she
on.
fucking slammed me. I think after that.
Yeah. Or like tail whipped or something.
Happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a wild
Yeah.
fight. But no, there was a few other things that they can do that I straight up didn't use, like frightful. Well, I think I used the frightful
You
presence
did
once.
Yeah.
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 There was a couple other things that I know that they had listed there that I was like, I'm not doing this.
I know,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, even
Yeah.
with that whole skill
Yeah.
set nerfed, you saw how little of a chance we stood there. It was
Yeah.
She's the storyteller.
Yeah, but you don't want your story to be like you want it believably like
Yeah.
fair, you know.
No, I see it. But
Also, what about like so there was Hamlet who was Zaminyar's deity. There was Janaya who was Harbo's deity. What about Takori who was Miles's?
yeah, he was there. Well, in reality, he wasn't really there. He more so is, since he's a part of a sect of a different religion almost, like, he wasn't fully involved in everything going on around. Like, the pathway that Miles was going down was completely like a sidestep almost. It was almost like a side quest on
But
where
it felt like it
it was
was
going.
never like never attended to, you know, never came up. Like,
Yeah. That's fair. I could see that. I mean, by the time we were able to really get into everything, we were already in the final arc,
Oh
unfortunately.
my god, Sunny was in that. Sorry. I just
But,
saw Sunny in that image.
But yeah, no, like right when we started pushing everything for Chikori on the back end, and when that whole we were unfortunately near, like, I know for me planning wise, I struggled with trying to figure out where to fit him in the final battle at that point, because I was like, he is necessarily not fully a part of everything going on in the main storyline. but it just didn't make sense for me to put him in there, unfortunately, because then I was also looking at the battle, because originally there was going to be 3 dragons, and I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me, and no matter how I try to morph it. So he unfortunately was just like, it didn't fit in with everything that was going on.
Was there any chance ever of Miles ending up as our final boss?
No, it's not going to have a
Okay.
player be a final boss. Same with Sunny. Sunny was not going to be the final boss because Sunny had died.
Aww.
So,
Was there any way Sunny could have been brought back, like just as an NPC or something?
I debated it for a long time after we had said it. After the idea was stated, I was like, damn, do I do this? Do I fully do this? And then, like, the more I looked at it, the more I was like, no, I need Sunny to stay in pretty much the in-between at this
In
point.
purgatory?
Yeah, I need Sunny to stay there
Yeah,
for storyline purposes. She had to stay there.
I seem to remember you like teasing that she was still alive, but I don't
Yeah.
remember when that was.
Yeah,
That was before we figured out if he was coming back or not.
yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so actual real world events did take place in the
I see.
Oof.
Speaking of real world events, do we want to get into the fun ARG that I also had going on with this whole campaign?
Sure.
Yeah, fun fact. As you know, as we're seeing on screen, there was a bunch of promotional art. And sometimes the art was clear with the intention of what the session was going to be and this, that, and the third. Sometimes there was text written on there. And if you were a real savvy friend and or was really good at Photoshop, if you adjust a few settings, there's actually a bunch of hidden text. And there's 2 different storylines going on in the social media post. There's one, obviously there's a conversation on all the clear text messages, all the clear text, and then of course there's some that are hidden but not super hidden. That is between Janaya and the other Hamlet and Janaya, so your guys' deities essentially that you sided with. They're communicating with each other, and then the deeper stuff to where it started in this first picture with Hamlet sitting next to the stained glass window, and then like the shadowy figure coming out of the like shadow behind him. In that piece is where it started with it says like throughout several pieces later on, but fully the sentence goes like, Kefi is my son, but is also the end of my life. Do not trust him, for he is the one who will lead you to the darkness. And
Where was that?
so that's actually hidden if you adjust a lot of the settings. I'm not going to say which ones because that's spoiling it.
Oh,
But if you actually adjust some settings on some of the promotional art, you will slowly gather all of those pieces of the sentences, which is why I was on your guys' ass. Like, where's the post? Where are the posts going? What's happening? Because I had this whole ARG essentially happening the whole time. And I'm like, if they actually look into it, they'll know. And so, yeah, no, we had real world shit also inflicting on the campaign, which was probably some of my favorite portions. But yeah. So that painting or that piece should come up, but you won't see it, like, obviously, because it's hidden. But yeah, there was some fun spoilers in there as well for you guys to do. So that was really fun on my end to plan it all out. And I was like, damn, genius.
On that though, like that was the wildest thing because I thought I was seeing things that I
Yeah.
shouldn't have been seeing. And I'm like,
Yep.
wait a minute, did Tori leave notes for herself and forgot to get rid of them? So I mentioned it, and you're just like, nope. I was waiting to see how long it would take for you to notice.
Yep. So I made sure to like the weeks that I
That
was
was a-
really adamant on like, hey, where's the post? I was like, it needs to go up. But yeah. No. It's fun. Now you get to go through back all of our social media posts and fuck with it and try to find it. But yeah, no, it's really
Do
fun.
something on Instagram.
Yep, they can search through it there and mess with
God,
all of the
Will
settings.
Winslow in that photo that just passed by looks so much like he would be in a Greasy Tales cartoon. Like
I
I could see him in the Great Destiny Man, and it would be perfect.
Yeah, I don't
Oh
know.
man.
Honestly, every version of Winslow is great. Like from Kawhi's original one, from when
Yep.
he literally looks like the radish spirit, to
Yep.
when
Yeah.
you take over and he looks like he's supposed to be the radish spirit, but he's like more of a sentient radish.
Yep.
And then he
Like-
turns into like Wilford Brimley and meets Dr. Phil.
Yeah. Very that.
The Dr. Phil mustache was my favorite.
Dude, it's a good time. It's a good time.
Like he looks like he follows Haribo around. Like Haribo's eating everything, and he's just like diabetes.
Because like
Diabetes.
Winslow and Haribo, I don't think really cared for like they both seem to tolerate Zeminiar, but I know they didn't want to deal with Miles.
Yeah, that's
So
fair.
I feel like there was this unspoken thing where it's just like, oh well, you're the least annoying one here.
I think towards the end, Winslow kind of became more respectful of Miles, and I believe the same could be said for Miles to Winslow.
Yeah, absolutely. Miles's respect towards Winslow increased towards the end, 100%. But I don't think that Miles is completely like reformed.
I feel like the more Zeminiar got under Miles's skin, the more Miles tolerated Winslow.
That's true, actually. That's
That yeah,
true.
I
that
was the
tracks.
lesser
That
of
tracks.
evils.
He's like, little did I know dwarves were not as fucking annoying as goddamn tieflings. Like,
Correct, yeah.
oh, you're the only one. You make them all look bad.
Truly. It was a bad time.
As Miniart, genuinely liked Haribo and thought he was the precious cinnamon roll the entire experience. He
Yeah.
actually enjoyed the back and forths that him and Miles would get into because, like, it was kind of a nuisance to have someone around he could pick a fight with, and then they'd both still be alive because his kind of backstory was basically the opposite of that. And like that's how he ended up the way he was. He was a dick, and I think he would feel worse off if Miles were gone. And then Winslow was like the guy that he constantly was trying to befriend, and he's like, I can't get a fucking beat on you, dude. Like, what? I gave you a infinitely refilling mug. Why won't you be my friend? That's the kind of
Zeminiar was
vibe
like
that
a
he got
lost
with Winslow.
puppy.
Yeah, like considering his reaction to a lot of things, I talked to Tori about this a couple of times. He ended up being way more of a different character than he was ever intended to be. It started with Martha, and then like everyone else started following, and he really like. I didn't think about it until you said it, but he really does come across as like, "Fuck you guys! I don't need any of you. Please don't turn off the light.
He's like Cartman.
Don't go yet." Yeah, he's like a little shithead, but he's like a shithead who needs the people to be shitty too.
Exactly, just like
But
Cartman.
he was trying to be better, especially towards the end.
Aw. I think Haribo liked everybody. He got the most irritated with Miles, but yeah, yeah. I feel like the only one he really did not like was Poopy.
Poopy!
Wait, here's a fun question.
Yeah.
Which NPCs would have liked our characters the most, and which NPCs would have hated each of our characters the most?
Oh, I definitely think Hagatha was all about you guys. She was into it. Hagatha is the best.
What about Miss Wendy?
Oh my god, Miss Wendy too. She was all into you guys too.
Yes.
NPC that hated you the most. I'm gonna have to go with Bucky, obviously. He hated you.
But Bucky and I built up a relationship. Both
What?
of our
True.
I was in the war, his father was in the war.
What about what about
I thought
Taurus's brother?
were on good terms.
What about the king? We literally
yeah.
got his daughter killed like twice.
True.
Maybe
True.
3 times.
Yeah, he killed twice.
Me not counting the king as an NPC. Him just
His brother either.
ooh, Saurus's
He kinda-
brother.
He kind of was okay with us at the like when we saw him at the party.
He
Tried
can't,
to
Oh,
he
be
can't
yeah.
hate us
Dominion
because he
him
doesn't
shared a
have
drink.
emotions.
Yeah,
Bucky would be that.
he has
one, though.
emotions. His emotions are don't fuck with Harold. Don't make my day harder. That's all you need to know. That's his whole character.
I'm here
I
to do
feel
my
like
job.
Bucky though is all Zaminiar's fault.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, hold on. What did Junior do to Bucky? He ate
Everything.
his potatoes. He ate his potatoes. He took his food and even praised his food to him. He never found out it was a lie.
He also
I'm pretty
then-
sure
then
you
he
were
gave
mean to him to start off.
It changed. Especially after he lost some gold to me.
you also insulted
I-
his mother, if I'm correct.
That was a misunderstanding.
You absolutely
Doesn't matter.
Hey, you know what? It doesn't matter. I introduced him to his new daddy.
Oh my god.
You did do that, yeah.
Yeah, and what a dad! Miles will never let any harm come to him or his bovine wife.
Yeah, or I guess
Miles
the guy
had
that
various
hated
lovers.
that hated the one person that hated Haribo in the whole world is our poor Minecraft merchant who died the
deserved
one
it.
casualty of Haribo, the Minecraft merchant man.
Wait, did Haribo not even kill any creatures?
No,
Uh,
he killed a couple things, but the Minecraft
Yeah.
merchant was the
Okay.
one that was more Zaminiar-esque.
yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
straight murder. That
Hold
was just straight murder. That wasn't even self-defense.
Hang
He
on,
wanted
hang
to
on.
free the llamas. He
What-
thought he was doing a good thing.
Did Zaminiar
Yeah.
kill anyone?
Yes. Wait.
Yeah.
I got one person killed.
The Yuck brothers.
Yeah, I technically gave the order to kill one of the Yuck brothers.
The
Yeah, but
And,
who did you
um,
kill yourself?
Oh my God, Zeminian was so well behaved.
Oh my god, Haribo has a higher kill count than Zaminiar.
Oh my God.
And there's Miles.
And imagine years after knowing each other, and then that happened, and Haribo did that. I don't think any of the other characters would have even done anything realistically. I think everyone would have just had their mouths open watching Haribo fucking annihilate this poor merchant.
They would have
And meanwhile,
understood that
they
it
were-
was justified. If Haribo killed it, it was justified. He must have messed up.
How would
And
we
then the
know?
bear would have been in the background like, "You're doing gems. This is a sad time. A thing just died. Bye bye gems."
Then Parappa the Rappa would have come out of nowhere.
Uh,
Icon himself, Parappa the Rappa. God,
True
so
legend.
good. True
Genius.
legend.
Honestly, the merchants were great.
I loved that whole moment. I was like, we need to have that lighthearted, fun episode before the end. And it gets serious. Like in every anime, when there's that goof episode, someone's about to die.
Oh, yeah.
Something bad's
Quick
about to
question.
happen.
Quick question for the group. Speaking of it, what was your favorite real world reference in this story?
Ooh, good question.
Almost every single time Tori had a chance to bash the church.
Yeah.
They were good. And if you didn't catch, there were a couple times, I don't remember when, but there were a couple times like I think I didn't catch it right away, and the longer we were talking about it, the more I'm just like, wait a minute, this is a total dig at whatever's going on right now.
Yeah, they were great.
Mm-hmm.
We love a good, symbolism.
Otherwise, I
Aw.
loved Miss Wendy. Miss
Ah.
Wendy was the best.
Yes.
She
Ye
was
old
so
Windies.
nice.
She was.
My favorite reference was, "What are you buying?"
William? Yes.
I don't remember a lot of them, but I remember one at the very beginning that you're trying to come up with a new like taco-based holiday, and I couldn't think of what you were going for, but apparently it was Taco Tuesdays. That was a good one.
Steelers.
Yes. Oh my god. Oh my
And
god,
then
that was still one of my favorite moments of the whole stream was Miles and the Taylors. Oh.
Plant beat you to the punch in figuring out that riddle.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually clipped that one. Like that deserved to be clipped.
Has
So
good.
it lives on
Lives
forever and ever. And when we
Someone
upload the
link
video, it'll be right here.
Yep. It's like someone link it. Damn. That's such a good clip. It was a fun time, or a memory that from the very first session that's always stuck with me. I don't know if it's necessarily real world, but the old lady book merchant that talked about hentitis has to be one of my favorite. From this day, I was talking about it actually at work recently, and I was like, "Oh, are you getting the hentitis?" And they just looked at me, and I was like, "Oh, that's right. I shouldn't be speaking about this."
These aren't these people.
I gotta say, it was an obscure reference, but I also thoroughly enjoyed the angry son from Mario. That was one of the.
I like it that stayed consistent the entire time.
Never changed it. I couldn't be bothered. Winslow, your favorite real world? Chrysalis?
I like the more recent one with all the salesmen from the game.
They were
And
good.
you didn't know which one was gonna come up next. It was a
Yeah.
surprise.
Yeah, it was a little puzzle. I liked it. And you got to have their picture the entire time.
It was one of those calendars. Advent calendar.
Advent calendars.
Yeah.
It was perfect for Christmas.
Yes.
Oh, what a good time. Speaking of puzzles, how do you guys like some bird puzzles? You want to talk about the bird puzzle?
Sure, but first, can I ask you a question? Because that actually brings up one of my questions that I have written down here.
Absolutely. Let's
After the crucifixion, that was the first puzzle we went through. What puzzle have you dreaded the most before we got to it?
There was actually one that I was really scared on, and that was the I Spy one. The I Spy puzzle, I was terrified that you guys were going to get hung up on. Thankfully, you had a brain cell, aka Miles,
Yay.
who's just like, it's that tiny man. I think it was Miles was like, it's the tiny man. Done. And I was like, oh, thank the heavens. And then there was a callback to the Cursed Egg campaign. I was going to make a crossword puzzle. And did not do that, but I was dreading that one as well because I was like, oh no, this is gonna have to tell them that they have to remember how to spell things. And
Miro would not have done well.
Yeah, I was very scared for that one, hence why I nixed it. I was like, no, we're not. No. No, we're not doing this. No.
At least it wasn't math.
No.
Oh yeah.
Looking at you again, Zero.
Yep.
There was I don't know if we did this one either. I don't remember if we did, but there was also an Einstein's puzzle that I wanted to throw in here. That was a callback to the Cursed Egg campaign as well. Because they had to spend on one of our overnight sessions. Had we done longer sessions, had we done overnight session, if we had ever done that. There was going to be more difficult puzzles in there that was going to fill up a lot of that time. And that's where the Einstein puzzle was going to be, but we had just never done that or had the time for it. So, yeah. I would have to say the I Spy one because I knew it was really, really obscure, and I remember making it was really hard. A few other puzzles that really got me was overall when you guys went to Silent Benedict and solving the murder there. That one was in the police station. That one
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
that one was hard for me because I remember making it. Was it that one?
We
Yeah.
solved one of those puzzles really quickly. I can't remember which one it was. They
the
had to
I
do with the
Spy.
TV.
Yeah, it was the I Spy.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh no, because then there's all where you guys had to search for the key, and that's where you guys all of you took a nap on a bed, and then Ziminiar was drunk.
No. Yeah, Saminio did not take a nap on the bed. Saminio
No.
was drinking and trying to do his job, but
And
also
fell down the
drinking.
stairs. But,
Yeah.
but no, I think the one I was really scared of as well was the police station one, because that one I remember I actually based it off of the actual crime scene on it was the actual crime scene of what had happened was actually based off of the Netflix case, The Staircase. So,
Oh my god.
fun fact. And so I had to look up like actual crime stuff to like make sure I had the layout properly and everything. And I was like, oh my god. Let me tell you, that research, brutal. I was like, I can't put this in there. I can't
Adam
like
wants me to watch that doc so bad, and once
It
I do,
is
I gotta rewatch
good.
that whole batch of episodes.
Yep. Mind you, most of the like actual crime stuff around it I didn't pull, but the actual crime scene of like with the staircase and where everything was, like there was a few things changed, but like I had to look up like actual photos of like what was going on, and I was like, oh Jesus, this is too real. Because in the other campaign that was running simultaneously, they had to have the same information. So yeah, it was insanity. That was a hard one to prep for, or any of the murder mysteries. Those were my favorite to prep. I loved planning the murder mysteries and having you guys solve them. So that whole ship murder mystery was great to me. I loved doing that. It was fun, and
One where we killed the innocent.
yeah, you guys did fully do, what my advocacy is for, which is wrongful convictions. So you did that. You got it wrong, but it was
Actual epic failure.
yeah. Yep, should have trusted Poopy more, obviously.
Did we just roll like shit that one?
Yeah, you guys did roll like crap, and you also you did
We
not
asked
ask.
a couple people.
Yeah, you also were not tracking. That was when you guys were just realizing how serious it was to take notes. When because the issue was there, you guys did not track where the battle axe was, ironically enough, and who had the axe when. Because you would have realized that some people
paid
were lying.
attention to the axes.
Yep, Winslow, you
His
should have keyed in
favorite.
your trusty battle axe. But yeah, that was the hiccup there for you guys. You were not following the battle axe. But
What was the battle axe joke our longest running joke?
I think so.
Like, I think because every time Winslow pulled the battle axe, we got excited. I think 100% of the time.
It needs to be a shirt.
My signature move.
What battle axe?
I take my battle axe. We need that on a shirt. If we make merch, that's the one.
We will
now.
once we get that up and running.
Ew.
Again.
Oh, look at that.
Honestly, for like a future sticker idea or a shirt idea, I would also like just a chibi version of Haribo shouting, "Miles!"
How many miles is a mile?
How many fun?
Is
So
my
much.
favorite
Oh
joke.
my God.
Yeah, what are your
Just
guys' favorite quotes?
Just make
Haribo getting confused the entire time. And Miles just catching on. had to be my favorite when he realized that Haribo was counting him in Miles. The
Good
defeat
God.
in that one guy's voice.
We had to record that one 3 times.
That was so sad.
Minior said I was gonna get a snack. When he tried to give her a prostitute. And he got mad that I didn't give it, that he wasn't getting an actual treat.
That's, I remember that, yeah. When Haribo found out about Fun from the lady on the boat.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he was.
Oh my
He
god.
got so mad because I told him that if he went with the prostitute, that she was a treat, and he's like, "Well, what kind of treat?" And I said it was gonna be like a deliciously sweet treat, and, and I smiled as he went off with this prostitute into her room. I literally paid her to sleep with him. And then he goes in there, and she's like, "Ready for fun?" He goes, "What? Where's my treat?" And he stopped out.
Haribo was so mad.
It was like the funniest fucking thing. And then you came up and fucking yelled at me. I don't remember the exact words. I just remember dying.
Dude. That was a good
We all
time.
had to pause for like a couple minutes that entire bit
No.
though.
Dude, the bit that I remember stopping at was the fucking potatoes and smashing them on the floor. Just, dude, I remember straight, like, actually possibly pissing myself. Like,
Oh
I
my
was
god.
losing it.
I forgot
was
about
so-
the potatoes.
Dude, that shit was so funny. I
We
lost
spent
it.
like
Uh,
20 minutes and we only got 2 potatoes out of it. I think Winslow obliterated one of the potatoes, right?
Oh yeah, we were
Like, he
bringing it
just
for a whole
brought down
party. We were bringing it to a whole party that is going to be catered anyway. And there's going to be like 2 people.
Like, the whole setup of, like, why are we doing this was never questioned. We just kept going. So I was like, oh, yes, okay.
We,
Like, you guys are
we were
going.
trying.
Didn't
We
we
were trying
invent
to be
mashed
proper.
potatoes?
No, we it was cold. We were following the recipe for cold mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
But we
Smashed
which,
raw
which, by the
potato.
way, I got from Bucky
point.
and complimented him to his face about
That's
it
right.
because I was trying. That's why I was confused. I'm like, I ended with a good note on him because I didn't want to. I was trying to start Zinnia on a better path of not causing Martha any more trouble. So I was polite to him at the end. I wanted to do something, but I didn't. And then we went back. We fucking obliterated a potato, and we were gonna take this. We were trying to take something to the fancy ball because it was the first time we were planning on nothing going wrong for once.
Oh yeah.
We were really, really trying, and I think for the most part, with the exception of a dude getting banished, I think we went off without a hitch.
Oh yeah, that was
Yo,
the one who was
Miles.
trying to
Sleep with
like, yeah, that.
But
Time.
The wink wink.
hey, dude,
butt.
you told him that you love. Who made that happen? Who was the trickster that
Not me.
started that guy into following Miles?
I ran
I'm
into
pretty
him.
sure it was a combo of Haribo and Ziminiar.
No, I think I
Oh,
ran
yeah.
into him outside as I was leaving. And then he delivered your guys' formal attire, and maybe you did set him on the wrong path there.
We did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
We totally did.
Hmm.
We sent you away. Oh, we got a guy banished. Like,
Oh well.
he's just floating in existence somewhere.
So
Ziminiar
Heartless
was
kill
not
count
the best
is 2.
influence.
It's at least 2.
Is he dead?
Maybe.
Wait, who
Is
else
he?
died?
No.
Who
He's.
I
else got
would say
banished?
I banished
1.5.
Ziminia a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you brought me back. Who else didn't you bring back?
No, you just come back after a while. It's not.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's part
okay.
of the spell. You automatically come back. So the other guy's back too. But
But
Yeah.
far away from Miles
Yeah. Forever
or
running.
mourning him. I don't know.
Both, honestly. Then
Uh,
oh man, what good
who was the
times.
most dangerous player NPC that we ran into?
Oh god.
Like, who would have fucked us up the most if we had a serious match with them? Not including what happened with us in Fromage, because I know he wasn't trying to fight us that night.
No.
Yeah, if it was us against like one in that like that
It
tag
was
team
it was
mess.
Miles and Zeminiar against him. You two did not. I
I
think
would
you were both
For
against it.
Maj? No. Hairbo didn't want to fight for Maj. I was talking about that dragon thing.
Oh yeah,
oh
At the
Janaya.
very end, yeah.
Janaya was kick ass. She definitely did, but I'm not gonna include her in
yeah.
that.
I just meant playable characters that were other characters in different campaigns, like Bucky and Fromage. Like which one?
Fromage. How Fromage was originally played was he was such a fucking trickster. Like, because I think that's what he like actually went down was Arcane Trickster, I think. But he had the Roofie Peach, which was what really was his clutching thing. Because
Oh,
Berry Valley would make pretty much knockout dust. And yeah, pretty much one shot Sleepy Slewed. But
so he would have whooped our asses.
yeah, and then the other character that would have beat ya asses easily because she was actually a playable character in another campaign. She was a different class originally, but she hasn't made it there yet.
Sarah?
No, Ceres was not ever playable. She was always just
Oh,
NPC. Ginger
Ginger? Oh,
actually was
no way!
Ginger was originally Taylor, aka Mantis's character, and it was a warlock, and she was from there was this other timeline that she actually got zoinked into a Willy Wonka world. So her patron was actually like Lord Licorice. And so it was a candy based character, and she was actually Hamlet's like long lost sister and all of this, and was banished there. And so, but in this timeline, and where you guys were know is she was quote unquote dead or gone or never existed or whatever the rumor was. But in reality, she was in like Willy Wonka land, like originally. But in this world, since she was younger when you guys found her, I actually switched her over to a more fighter kind of like running about. So her classes were actually, I think, at uh oh no, I don't want to do this. Hold on. She ended up being a monk and a fighter. So she would have beat your guys' ass just based off of her skill
wow.
set. Yeah. So
Yeah,
she was a monk and a fighter in the end, and not even like she take rogue at all? No, she didn't.
I
She was
would
just
never
monk
have thought she
fighter.
was a character.
Yeah,
Dang, yeah.
no.
I thought she was
Ginger
an NPC the whole time.
Nope, Ginger
Dang.
was an original character that I just switched classes for because her being a warlock didn't make any sense in the
It,
current timeline and what had happened. So,
yeah. You just answered one of my questions because I was going to ask why she was abandoned or whatever.
yeah.
But
Nope, she was
yeah,
actually
nope.
Makes
she
sense
was
now.
yeah, she was actually banished out and
How
sent
did
away.
how did Janaya come across her? I can't remember. I know I think you did explain it to us, but I can't recall.
Yeah. Oh god. They essentially cuz Janaya it depends on what timeline cuz originally Janaya
Explained it
essentially
to
was
Haribo.
yeah. Oh god. It's been so long. Let me look and see cuz it depends on what timeline it is cuz I wrote out. The issue is I confused myself cuz I wrote so many timelines on it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like nope, this
Wibbly
is
wobbly, timely wimey.
yeah. Strength check, metal doors. This is when Solomon, you guys were fighting Solomon. Is it session 34? No, it was a one-on-one that I had. Session 29. Yes. So, Mm-hmm. Wait, no. Nope, because this is with Hamlet. So when was the other mini session with you? It's a mini session with Derek.
Is
Da-da-da.
why?
There's no way it was session 10.
The one where Haribo got
Yeah.
his weird seeing ability.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to find that mini session, and I am. Was it this one? No, because this is when you were left alone with Hamlet.
Oh,
No, in short, essentially they ended up together somehow, but I'd have to look through my 57 pages. But oh no, this is the one. Yeah, because Clara leaves the room, blah 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 blah. Clara's doing all of her crazy stuff because Clara was her own enigma thing. But then meeting someone. Here's the giant
Questions about
paragraph.
Claude?
Oh yeah, you guys haven't asked anything about Miss Clara.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could get some possible answers. Like, what
Oh
was
yeah.
her full fucking deal?
So Clara actually is really fun. No, I can't find how they got together this time. But oh, that's right. She originally signed with Ginger. That's right. She was originally in a pact with Ginger.
yeah, because they were talking
Hmm.
about that when
Yeah.
she signed a pact with Haribo.
Yeah. So essentially, Janaya just came across her because Janaya wasn't supposed to be there either. So
Wait, Janaya and Ginger?
Ginger was always quote unquote supposed to be there, but Janaya wasn't. Janaya was from a different timeline entirely.
Oh,
So
see,
Yeah, where she was a god over there.
in my history, there was an implication that Janaya was Ginger's like adoptive mom.
pretty much, yeah. In theory. But she ended up raising her.
Mm-hmm.
But no. Yeah, Janaya was originally not even supposed to be in this timeline, but per usual, things got muddy. But Laura is actually a really fun case because it's from a different campaign as well. It was from Project Egg. Clara essentially was hop, skipped, and a jumped from her timeline, and that she if I could pull up my notes for that campaign, I have a bunch for her there. But essentially Clara was not supposed to be in this timeline either. And she had jumped in over here, and there was a whole other religion essentially going on of people who were signing pacts and stuff with demons, and essentially was this weird kind of almost what Miles was creating, but underground cult of people worshiping the egg, but just in a very subclass way. So kind of how, religions have their own subclasses and their own little sects that they do. And so it was almost a mirroring of that. And so she was pretty much signing pacts with smaller demons and devils and such. But yeah, she was also time skipping about from different campaigns.
As you do.
Yeah. So it was Clara. Clara had a lot of, and she was also Solomon's daughter. So,
Oh,
party. Yeah. That was explained.
I knew I should have
suddenly
killed
it all
her.
makes sense.
Yeah. I was like, I'm pretty sure that was explained at some point because I think Hamlet brought it up.
Mhm.
Yeah, before you went to go get her, Hamlet brought it up. He's like, yeah, no, he has a daughter.
I think I was too focused on him killing him.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like someone.
I had. Okay, sorry. I was waiting for other people. I wanted I wanted to ask, what was Winslow's actual backstory?
Yes.
That was one of the reasons why Semenior wanted to. That was one of the reasons Semenior was trying so hard to be Winslow's friend because he was so fucking curious, and so am I.
Well, Winslow.
So basically, after we had
Oh,
And you'll never
Oh,
know.
God.
our
and you'll never know because the audio is messing up.
No, keep going.
no!
It'll start working eventually, I've found. Just
I
keep
mean,
talking.
it works. Yeah, it seemed to work.
Never mind. I was wrong.
Are you on Wi-Fi or data for your audio?
What?
Oh no.
The
I couldn't-
Wi-Fi.
If she's on Wi-Fi, maybe try switching. Because is she on her phone or?
Should be.
I
We
thought
gonna
she-
find out.
I thought she always used computer.
I
I
wasn't
thought
sure.
so. I think Zero's the only one that uses his phone, right? These
Yeah.
are important questions.
Hello.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right,
Hello.
you're good.
Sort
Yes.
of.
So I'm on Wi-Fi on my laptop.
Okay. Huh. I don't know.
Interesting.
When I'm on my laptop, I usually have issues, so that's why I use my phone.
That makes sense.
Hmm.
At least as much sense as anything can.
Well,
Yes. So before my audio goes out again, so pretty much during the session where we got the wishes for anything from the king, and Winslow's wish was that I can't remember if I said the dwarves and elves to be free or just the dwarves to be free, but after that, like Winslow's like sole mission was pretty much fulfilled. So as far as the backstory goes, so he wasn't originally from the Land of Egg, but he was from like a dwarven clan that was like familiar with mining and the such. And when like the invasion was happening to like gather all the dwarves and elves for slaves and whatnot, he was able to escape using a secret tunnel.
oh no.
Secret tunnel.
In the mountains.
Sorry.
That was in like his mine in his little caves.
So he's an escaped convict.
Yeah. And so basically swore that
Respect.
he wanted to save and free his people, and basically return to how things were before.
See why he
The
didn't
dwarves.
talk about it then.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I wish I kind of played it better with playing more into that stuff, how to do that without giving a whole lot of information away, since Winslow's character was supposed to be very secretive and untrusting of people.
That's fair. And with Miles around, it probably made it a lot harder.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Once again,
Who-
Miles.
Who was Winslow most comfortable around between not just the party but NPCs as well?
I think, to be quite honest, it might have been Zeminiar.
Makes
Even
sense.
though,
Oh!
Well, and after a while, Miles and Winslow had time just the two of themselves,
Yeah.
I think he grew to be more comfortable with Miles.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Miles just needed to stop being a jerk long enough for that to happen.
Miles is a comfort character.
What?
Well, and I
He
think
provides comfort.
Winslow realized that Miles was one of the only ones that could be successful in some of the tasks and jobs that were at hand. So he
That is what Miles always proclaimed too.
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah,
always
and
true.
No,
it
no,
wasn't,
it
but
was.
like it was usually those two that got the things done, while me and you were like over here that we're either fighting or tasting,
Yeah, that's pretty true.
or catching on fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Or trying to set free.
Yeah.
Oh. Haribo was just too dumb for his own good.
Or wait, what was the thing you were trying to do at the ocean that one time?
Oh, so Haribo, like at one point in time, I wanted to make Haribo because as a druid, you can, control the elements. So I wanted to make Haribo akin to the Avatar.
Oh, you wanted to make him.
Yeah. So like secretly I wanted to make him like Aang. So I have, let's see,
The right
had a
energy.
fire spell, had water spells. I think my next one, had we leveled up a couple more times, I would have had stone golems. So I had plenty
Oh,
of
that would have been
plant-based
useful
magic.
so many times.
Yep, and then I had I think it was either Shillelagh or Druidcraft helped me control like the wind, one of the two. But so technically I was an airbender. The only one I hadn't mastered yet was Earth.
But like, what
So
were you trying to do in the
Haribo
ocean that would?
trying to slap somebody. Well, there were a couple different times. One time he got mad at someone and he wanted to use the water to slap him. And then the other time he was trying to catch a fish.
Yep.
To
Yeah,
prove
that was
to
the
a couple
time.
guards that he could use it without a fishing rod because they
Oh,
were making fun of us.
and then Zeminiar made one of the guards lose his fucking mind, and then we found out later that he lost his job because no.
Yeah, you were a dick.
I was trying to defend you.
Haribo was doing well on his own. Had his own method for doing things. Did they make sense? Not 100% of the time.
No.
But given the circumstances of how he was raised and the world he knew around him, it made sense.
For Miles, how would Miles feel about his apprentice technically outliving him? Granted, the whole universe reset at the same time. But Miles doesn't know that.
What do you mean Miles doesn't know that? Miles also reset at the same time, no?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that that's exactly what happened, does he?
I mean,
Like,
I'm
he
sure
just
that
reset.
Miles would not actually be happy with his apprentice being in any way more alive than he is. Or more proficient, more anything, you know? Like Miles doesn't Miles's whole thing was always like power tripping. Like he never
Oh yeah.
gave up power. His power was over people. So his apprentice like potentially be like outranking him in any way would be bad.
Fair. Quick question. Hamlet aside, Zeminiar aside, top 3 NPCs you wanted to kill. Because I feel like Zeminiar wasn't the only one that was kind of holding back on the being murder happy.
At times, Harold.
See though.
Ooh.
I just always
I
thought
kind of knew
Harold
Harold.
Harold was kind of just whiny. I didn't like him.
Yeah. Miles expressed exacerbation with Harold like almost immediately upon meeting him. I remember you like it was the first time Miles towards royalty was talking to them like he talks to Zeminiar at that point. And it was like,
Well,
oh
that was
my
also
god,
like
it
the
might not
first
be
time Miles
Zeminiar
was
that gets
talking
in
towards
trouble.
royalty, so you know.
It was a
Oh,
Harold was such a goody two shoe.
except in the
Harold, I
bed.
like him.
Yeah, and as he grew older, he like stopped being a goody two shoe. But young Harold was very goody two shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was with him like getting hammered at the second
yeah?
to last session? What was that about?
Oh, dude, he was done. There was a whole scene of just everything going on, because not just that, at that point it had been like royally declared that he was no longer not going to be the king as well. So, despite giving up that title, it's now the world knows that, and he's like, "Oh, I was the best. Like everyone was rooting for me, and I gave it up. I don't feel like dealing with these people sobbing about it and being angry about it." So he just got fucking hammered. He was like, "Screw it, I'm done. I can't have the woman I want to be with. I can't have the throne. Like, fuck all of this." And was that, but also like Harold knew from the beginning he was never gonna have it. So
Yeah. Probably not going to turn into the hero that he was supposed to be.
exactly, he
Yeah.
essentially failed on himself. And
And we did not help.
no,
I mean, what do you mean we didn't help? Miles literally told him that if you want it, all you have to do is like not do what you're doing, and all he did
Wait.
was what he was
When did
doing.
anybody listen to Miles?
Exactly.
Hold on. I think actually wasn't the thing that we had a really big decision with helping him out with Cyrus, and I remember
You
we
never learned
like
her name.
get it right. No, it's
Cyrus.
Cyrus.
Cyrus. Okay. It's-
Got it right. That
Never
was the
mind.
longest running joke. That's your fucking name.
Outside of the battle
Okay.
axe.
So Cyrus with the battle axe.
Oh my god.
And Florentine, the place I forgot the name of the most. So there was a point where I remember you told us, depending on our answer, some shit was gonna get fucky. I remember Zeminiar ended up giving up on the stance that him and Haribo were taking. Was that a bit? I believe the decision was go with him and keep him safe doing something,
okay, yeah.
or go and try to get Cyrus. And me and you were trying to say stay with him, and the others are like, no, we were trying to go get Cyrus because we were like, we got to help Harold get to Cyrus and not let Cyrus get and just helped us, I think. Either way, we were about helping her, and the team was split between: do we go try to save her, or do we go be with Hamlet? I think.
Yeah, and that's when the riots started. I do remember that now.
Yeah.
Like before Cyrus ran off with fromage.
And I like did that alter how Harold turned out?
Let me check. Pretty sure.
Alternate timelines.
Yeah, like that's
This
the
is
thing
the multiverse.
kind of like it ultimately comes down to is there's always going to be different timelines. So Again, I'm trying to find that session because I know I still have both paths written out because two different things definitely happened. Session 19. Okay, so this is when you guys were all in the cave. Da 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 da. The kazoo. The barmaid. Ah, yes, this is when you met Gilly and the cat boy. The
I
best
forgot about him.
cat boy, because freaking Miles ran into the craziest NPCs and no one would believe him. Was the cat boy after or
No,
before
Miles
this?
knew what was going. Well,
I think it had to be before.
because that was the same session with that stupid regular cat too, if I remember right. Right?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
old man
Oh,
and the
yeah.
cat.
What was up with that? Like, we just witnessed a random fucking theft in the middle of chasing that cat.
Yep, pretty much you witnessed some world shit. Okay, yep, so then the ambush. She got word to her father. Yeah, no, I would say that decision most definitely probably had a good play site in it of
Damn it.
if you had stayed with him, you guys probably would have had more of a nope, because this is
Damn.
going
Damn. I
out
knew we
with
should have listened to
him.
Miles.
Oh yeah, because okay, so here's the session.
Something you don't hear every
So
now
I
and
wrote
again.
more
It sounds
for.
correct.
Yes.
No,
Okay.
we shouldn't
Here's
have
the
listened to
session.
him.
It was session 22 in theory. At least that's what's listed here. I wrote a lot more for everything else that had occurred that session. Because I had planned that you guys were going to go with Hamlet more than likely, or you were going to decide to go with him, which you guys did end up doing. And then, because you essentially found out about the riots that had happened there through Hamlet and everything else, where if you had stayed with Harold, you essentially would have had some more shopping time. When you would have went down to the evening, you would have seen the from the church, you would have seen all of the fires and everything. You would have been there at the riot itself. And you would have seen pretty much the Kingsguard getting kind of like run over by people. And at that point you would have went with with Harold on
Oh.
trying to pretty much everything that did happen that night with Saris and the boat and how they went two separate yada yada yada. Because he then pretty much Harold, I think, ended up going to Benedict in the end on that anyways to tell them about what had occurred. So you all ended at the same place, but yeah, they took a boat and yep, riding through, yep, because he went through the mountains. Yeah, there was a whole bunch of additional pretty much what happened on his end. You would have just been traveling around with him on the back end of things, and that means you wouldn't have been with Prince Hamlet and Benedict. You wouldn't have run into Janaya and Ginger. You wouldn't have ran into them and everything that happened there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you guys would have skipped all of that and ultimately had a much more mundane experience of, hey, we witnessed the riots happening. We're now telling you about the riots. And it would have just skipped all of that story plot, which was huge for you guys too. Hence why I planned more on that side. Because I also knew going in, there's a lot more meat on the bones with Hamlet, because that's the guy you guys have been chasing down, wanting to get more to know more of. There's no real reason to stay with Harold, except for unless you're siding with him. So, yeah, you would have essentially seen him send off Saris, but you wouldn't have seen where Saris went, because as you guys know, she ends up in Silent Benedict, if I'm correct. Right? That's where that all
Yep.
leads
You did?
into?
That's where we saw her next.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's where she ends up
Yeah.
looping to.
And
Yep.
he actually kind of was having a grand old time there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
really.
Yep, 'cause that's after sessions after Silent Benedict. So yeah, sessions 24 and 25 and several sessions including, but it's only listed as those two. But it was several sessions after that.
And that
Yeah. Uh-oh, your audio's
was
cutting out. Zero. Nope, your robotic audio is gone. Try again.
Not me.
Nope,
Correct?
still busted. Oh no. But
Zero's
yeah,
been
so she
lost
ends
to
up
the
looping there,
mechanical
but
gods.
yep, but you guys still don't know where she how she well, you guys do know that she got there. You're pretty much, Solomon, but overall, yeah, you still see how she gets there. But
Well.
it's all good. It'll figure itself out. But
Cyrus
it's
will?
fine. No, sorry,
Zero's microphone. No.
Zero.
Allegedly.
Well.
But yeah. So that's what happened on a different end. You guys would just missed a huge plot point, which thankfully you didn't. So
Yeah, really. Like, that would have been a whole crazy thing had we missed the whole Janiyah Ginger thing. Like, that
Yeah.
probably would have, like...
that would have changed it a lot for you guys. Because you still wouldn't have known that she was her, ultimately. Like, you guys had a good hinkling, but other than that, you had no idea. Like, for sure. You guys got signed, sealed, delivered that it was her. Other
So
than a bunch of...
then, can we know what the good and the kind of medium ending is?
Yeah, so good ending is Hamlet does not fail with the egg. And ultimately why I had asked all of you, like, hey, what would your character be doing after? Because ultimately then good ending goes, you guys solve everything, you keep Hamlet from going insane and using the egg and, doing your little jobs as little guardians. And ultimately would have continued living your life as kind of such, doing it in some way, shape, or form. And we would have then picked up in the next campaign where your characters are probably much older and or even dead, depending on how far forward we moved, and ultimately would have been still in the same timeline, keeping everything kind of very stagnant. Middle ending was if we did not get to complete the campaign, it was still kind of gonna end like pretty much the same of things repeating, but it wouldn't have been so symbolic. It was more so ultimately I was always prepared for it to cut off at some point random, so that's why each session I always tried to leave it on a cliffhanger to where then it could still be interpreted to the audience, kind of like what do they think happened, let them kind of end with whatever ending they thought was good. But the mundane ending, I think the best way to put it was essentially you guys just leave. You just leave your services and go off on your own and let whatever will be. So, yeah.
It's amazing that that didn't end up happening on so many levels.
Yeah. Which is why I planned for it just in case it did happen. But ultimately, I was like, there's no way. But I had planned for it just in case. So, yeah. It was very, those were the other endings. But before you cut out Zero, it sounded like you had a question.
I forgot what it was.
That's fair.
Oh, question, because I already know that we would have been fucked, but at any point, how fucked would we have been as a group if we tried to fight Harold or Cyrus? And how fucked would we have been if we fought them both?
Oh, you would have been fucked. They were heavily leveled. I always made it that they were very leveled. I believe.
I
Let
figured.
me pull up their character sheets for you. There's Harold. Is this his actual character sheet though? Yeah. So Harold was very leveled. We'll just go into launch level just to see where he was. Because Harold went down a path of Paladin Barbarian.
Oh.
So
Yeah, he was naturally built to kick our ass.
yeah, he was built to bust some shit up.
And
Saurus
we didn't
was fully just a straight level 20 rogue, so she wasn't too bad, but she was shifty as fuck.
I was gonna say, like, we may have like at least put up a fight against her, but
Yeah.
no, we weren't. We were built for enemies like her or long range enemies. We
Yeah.
had one frontline person.
Yeah,
It was
so she
awful.
would've- And then Hamlet. That can't be right. I know he went
Oh,
down.
Hamlet, I didn't even. That wasn't even a question for me. As soon
Yeah.
as he held Zeminiar hostage and fucking made him watch as he killed Gilly and then threw her down the fucking top of a manor and then was like,
Oh.
they're gonna think you did that, and then poofs out. Like after that, Zeminiar wanted to kill him, but he realistically knew there was no way. Like, there
Yeah,
was
he
no
was
way.
a wizard paladin, actually.
Oh.
What
Oh,
Hamlet was, yeah. And then Kefi is the most complex one who went down fighter, barbarian, and wizard.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, he has had a lot of time.
Yeah.
Technically.
Technically, yes, he did. And then yeah, Fromage was rogue. Fromage was rogue.
What specifically happened to Gilly after we left her, or after we got teleported from the taxidermy village?
So after that, she essentially did go into hiding. She went into hiding and was just kind of living the life that she always wanted, in theory, of just being like a rogue survivor. So she was camping out a lot, and then ultimately, in the end, she did end up meeting with Ginger, Janaya, met up with them for a bit, which got her and all be together. This is suspicious, homies. And then she ended up getting into the Thieves Guild with Fromage. So she
It's
ended
so
up staying.
cool.
She stayed underground essentially the whole time, because I think even character sheet wise, where's Miss Ma'am's character sheet?
It's kind of funny that like Janaya still kept the NPC and the NPC ended up keeping it as another NPC.
Yeah, because Gilly ended up going down. Yep, she was mainly rogue, and then she did take some levels in wizard. Oh, and then
Crazy.
also paladin. She also had some paladin stuff in her from her childhood. So
She kind of like looked at all three of us and she looked at three of the people in our group and went, I kind of want to do all of that, but
yep,
different. Like
exactly. So she definitely was built pretty well, because essentially time with like growing up would have been her wizard kind of training. Paladin also like was probably growing up, but was more on the religious side of things, not necessarily fighting itself. And then as she grew up, she realized, rogue is where I belong. So she kind of became a rogue and was a understudy of Fromage. So,
Ooh.
and then ultimately she stayed within that and was just kind of working behind the scenes to get you guys to do what you guys needed to do.
what oh shit. What was the question? Were there any differences in the timelines after the world got changed that we didn't notice that you put in on purpose?
No, I made sure to put the changes pretty prevalent, I would say. Make it
Okay.
pretty obvious, because, you needed to see immediately how things were affected. But yeah, no, everything was pretty on the surface there.
So what was the reason that Zeminiar wasn't killed in his own timeline?
Ah.
Yeah, I never asked that. Shit.
Oh, which timeline? Which
Uh,
one?
the Okay, so the one that led to him being there, the one where he saw the apocalypse. Wait, that might
Yeah,
not
his,
even been
from
him.
the
Oh,
year
right?
12 or something.
Ah, yes, your original timeline. Why you didn't die? Oh
Mm-hmm.
man, that's a fun one. I mean, ultimately it comes down to like in theory, almost all of you are just as old, but it's more so being reincarnated. You're on the same level as the protector in the sense of the egg or the blessed one chosen.
See,
So you all kind of just reincarnate over and over. So there's actually a whole mechanic that I wanted to implement because it's in all of my campaigns, but I did not get to do it in this one, which I'm so remiss of you guys would have actually been playing previous protectors. There's a whole game mechanic that I had that essentially every night that your characters would have went to sleep, you would have rolled a d20, and depending on whatever rule I had set, and I think for your guys's I would have set anything odd and above 15. So 15 and above, odd. If you had rolled, you would have flipped into a different character when you woke up the next day. And so I had actually all of the previous characters from the Cursed Egg. You guys would have been playing as future protectors, actually, not previous ones. But I had all of their character sheets in here. I had Random, I had Fromage, I had Ginger, which she obviously was implemented elsewhere. But I had a good list of other players that you guys would character sheets that you guys would have flipped into. And ultimately, yeah. You guys would have been playing as someone else. So
That's cool though.
and reincarnated, yeah.
I thought there was a cool possibility that either Hamlet or Zero would have been the egg, and then the other one would have been the protector. Like
I
Zero
kind
could
of
have
thought
been
that
the
was
egg.
going on a little bit too.
Yeah, especially because like with Hamlet constantly speaking to Ziminar, he could have been like the thing that Hamlet had to protect, or vice versa. Like especially with Ziminar constantly trying to protect Hamlet.
I mean, ultimately, that kind of was the dynamic, except like Ziminar had to protect Hamlet no matter what, ultimately.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, but Hamlet turned out to be the protector.
yeah. So
And
Hamlet protects
it,
the
like,
egg, you guys protect Hamlet. Done. And so it's a reoccurring cycle of you guys, which is why even in the ending, you guys are little ghosties around him at this point. Because at this time, your spirits haven't moved on to a new protector or guardian, more so of Hamlet. So that's why you guys are just little little ghosties floating around him, watching him, waiting for your next body to be put into, aka your next characters in possibly the next campaign? Question mark. Ooh,
yeah.
are
Oh,
we about to talk about the next campaign?
yes.
Ooh, are we ready to move into that since it's a perfect segue? I won't have much news on it, unfortunately. Not giving
Well, I
anything
gotta pee,
away.
but you can go ahead and start. So I'll be right back.
You're good. But no, I mean, we can even take a short break if we wanted to, but we'll go on. But ultimately, no, the next campaign will be taking place in the same world. You'll be in the world of Egg again, for sure, with new characters and fun story to tell. There's a few other things that I was gonna wait until closer to the end of the stream to announce, but we'll go into it because there's gonna be a lot changing with the next series, which most of you guys already know this. But I will be doing more original art. So a lot of the background scenes and everything I did obviously find online, and I'm really wanting to do my own background art. So
No more angry sun.
nope, he won't be there because you guys will be moving into the future as well, obviously, or what would be the new present day. And
So he's mellowed out.
yeah, so he's chilled. But maybe I'll draw him in. Who knows? Maybe he'll still be there. But essentially, I'll be doing a lot more of my own art. There will be another social media ARG planned and in
Ooh.
set, of course. Always. And then each arc will have its own kind of recap session for sure. It won't just be like every now and then. I want it to be more consistent for sure. But yeah, definitely. And then I'm thinking of launching it when we start would be March 28th of 2023.
Mm.
Yeah, is when I'm kind of setting it tentatively as of right now. We'll see, because a lot's going to be happening for me possibly in February, March, but pretty much right after we start this or finish this, I will be moving right into creating the next campaign and prepping it for the next 2 months. And yeah, because I already know kind of storyline already, which y'all ain't knowing shite. Sorry,
Wow.
that's locked down. But also over the next 2 months, we will be having a YouTube exclusive series. Well, not over the next 2 months, but with this next campaign, we'll be in the works of a YouTube only series. That'll be about 10 to 20-minute videos, possibly uploaded either the next day or roughly after of that week, or possibly even the alternating week of the previous session, but would prefer to keep them closer together. And essentially it's going to be a lot of behind the scenes stuff on my end on creating inside the session. Some of the players are going to be on there to talk about the session, how their characters are feeling, what's going on, and definitely just kind of more behind the scenes stuff, because I feel like that's what people really grit their teeth on after the episode, because we always had great conversations afterwards and like really constructive and fun ones, and I feel like I want to put the viewers into that as well. So that means I get to then film myself in some way, shape, or form, audio or not, talking about my trials and tribulations of also creating that session.
Animate yourself.
Yeah. So it'll be pretty fun. But that's to come in March, April of this year. So where I
Oh my
get to take
God.
on a bunch of extra work for the campaign. So there'll be a few extra changes and whatnot, but it's going to keep everything kind of just, because we had so many good conversations afterwards that I wish everyone would have heard. I really do, because there was a lot of fun stuff that was talked about and theorized, which, yeah, so that's moving forward. But I'm excited.
I think one of the more interesting conversations we had was when Chrysalis thought you were Donnie Darkoing.
Yeah, that was a good moment.
That was a
What's
whole
wor-
thing.
What's worse is I don't know the reference. Yeah.
Maybe.
That's your homework over these 2 months while you're creating your art. Put Donnie Darko on in the background. It's a very good movie.
What is it about, though?
Oh my God, what is it not about? So it's
Seriously.
essential. I kind of want to say it's been a minute since I've seen it, but it gives me kind of Shutter Island vibes, but also I don't want to say Inception, but for whatever reason that's coming to mind. It's a lot more Shutter Island. To kind of give you an overall view without really spoiling it too much.
Okay. That was vague, and also other references that I may or may not have seen. I won't
Have you
spoil
never
that.
seen Shutter Island either?
Is that the one with Leonardo DiCaprio in it?
Yeah, where
Yeah.
he's on the island and he is essentially a doctor to
I saw it like once.
Okay.
I will say this. I am the worst movie buff, as in I did not see The Labyrinth until last
Phantom
Roast
would
me.
be most displeased.
Roast
That's
me.
like his favorite. That's his favorite movie. If it makes you feel better, though, that one guy still hasn't seen the Godfather series, or like
Same.
he's not big into
Pause.
movies.
Yeah, I don't super watch movies.
Yeah,
Ah,
I'm
look,
a
he's back.
documentary
I've
gal.
been back for a bit.
But now that we're all back,
I've been back for a bit.
yeah,
What?
Back
Yeah,
with the
that-
plan to attack.
that's the
There
future.
was no plan.
Back
Have you
to the
seen that
present and the
movie?
past. What movie?
Back to the
Back to
Future.
the future.
Obviously, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Then
if
that-
I hadn't seen that, I wouldn't be deserved to be here today.
I mean, as long as you have seen some movies, like
Yeah.
I don't think being a movie buff is really meh.
Yeah. I'm just a documentary and, series buff, not movies. I never really liked the medium
You
of
a
movies.
weeb.
Yeah, let's just call me out. No, I'm more so
Call
of
it
a
what it
dweeb.
is.
I'm more so of a dweeb at this point because I'm like really invested in my CK3 game, and
Ah,
I'm a weeb. So just put the D in front of the word weeb, and I'm a dweeb. Yeah,
I feel like
That's
a
everyone's
terrible
playing
joke.
CK3. Also, I feel
Yeah.
like that's the origin of the word, so I don't know if it's a joke per se.
yeah. Crusader Kings 3, for those who don't know what CK3 is, which may or may not be an upcoming series on the channel. Whoa. What?
Gosh. Because I found out you could make an army of incest people, and that just tickled my pink. And like,
Oh, my inbred army is great. Thank you.
and not only that, but sorry, played a little bit, and it was a good time.
May or may not
It
be an
was
upcoming
very
series.
entertaining.
Maybe
I got
that's
it.
what you guys should play, like when we have off Mondays.
Oh.
Like Tori should just be playing CK3, and like Zero and I can just listen in and add our
Yeah.
commentary in the background.
Yo, I would be more than
so
happy
the other
to
can
do
get a
that.
break.
I would be more than happy to do that. That sounds like a great idea.
Done
I'm
deal.
fine with this.
It'd
So,
probably be more fruitful than our Sims series.
yeah, big sad. I also lost all the files to that because I have a new laptop. So, big
Oh,
sad.
no!
Yeah, so we'll never know who won Big Brother.
Well, we can say they all died and start a new one.
True facts. But yeah,
That'll make
CK3.
editing this a little easier.
Yeah. So, back to campaign stuff, though. We still got some time to dish everything out. More
Oh.
things out. We still got time.
Okay,
Time to
so
fill.
what did I know every now and again we would get like these random weapons. So what if I had used the Ring of Splat? I am very, very curious about that.
So I always loved the idea of homebrew items because they're really dumb and just you can use them at like random occurrences. So if you were like attuned to it, who knows what shenanigans you guys could have done with them. They're real items. They do exactly as they say. There was one cursed item that we never did get to use though. That would have
Was
been
that
really
the one
fun.
that Sunny had?
No, Sunny was a cursed item, but no.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
there,
No.
she did die.
Oh my god.
R.I.P. Sunny. But no, there was a cursed cult ring or something like that ended up being Miles, I think, bought it from the
Oh.
merchant dude. It's when we learned about the necklaces.
I seem to remember the item, yes. It
Yeah,
had
there
like assassin thing to it.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it, but apparently
Dude, you took that fucking ring from me, and
Yeah.
you didn't even use it once.
No, he just bought it and was like, okay, I bought it now.
When was
Was
I
it
gonna
this?
use it?
Okay, no, those are from April. When was the last time I messaged you? Surely it was sooner than this.
Assassin's
Okay.
Guild ring. While wearing this ring, receive advantage on all stealth checks and may cast Shadowblade as a bonus action twice per day. Cursed
Yep.
magic ring. Rare, requires attunement.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my.
And then I, for whatever reason, did not save the bottom half of that screenshot though. Which normally I do. I
Not
don't
so
know why.
cursed now.
Yeah, because there was a curse with it that was super, super fun too. Oh, I saved it. Look at me. Oh my god. The curse. This ring is cursed. When the magic of countless killings of the innocents. Whenever an assassination is made while wearing this ring, a deep scratch appears on the surface and remains there forever. Your kill count plainly visible to the world. In addition, whenever the player attempts to take a long rest, they must make a wisdom saving throw of DC 15. On a failed attempt, the voices of the dead interrupt them from completing a long rest. The ring can only be removed when targeted by the remove curse or a similar magic.
I'm pretty
Oh, it's a
sure
good
that
thing you
that
never
would
put
have.
that on.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that should have no effect on Miles since he was already partaking in slaughter.
Yeah. So essentially it
True.
wasn't really hiding it. But yeah, no, all those items were just there for fun shenanigans. Kind of like the tankard of the ever-filling tankard of your 5th favorite drink. That's actually from another campaign that Xandra ran. And yeah, it's where the joke of Sobe Life Water came into fruition as well. Thank you, Benz, friend of mine, who got the original tankard of like ever-filling and it refilled with a strawberry Sobe Life Water. Is his 5th favorite drink.
Oh my
What
God.
a poll. But yeah, no. The fact that he had to think of 4 other drinks before he got to Sobe Life Water was great. But yeah. That was a fun one. I really like that.
What
I love
happened to
that item.
Poach Hari?
Poach Hari, he actually did not ever come back. And I noticed that when I lost track of his kids. I was like, are they born yet? I think they're born. I genuinely could not remember at this point because I was like, no, when they went in the future, the kids were 9 and 10. And so then I had to keep backtracking on the math. And I was like, I don't think his kids are born yet. Or maybe they are. Because they're this age now. Because I had to keep remembering, I was like, Hamlet's this age. In the future, he was this age. But also timelines. So I genuinely lost track of Poach Hari's kids, which is why I just had him hiding. But he also was just in Florentine at the church, like doing his own day-to-day business. And he was not with Hamlet in Florentine because, you know, he had church duties to do. But that never stopped him before with being with Hamlet, so. But he was supposed to do a bunch of stuff, but he never did. So I lost track of his kids. So
So he just died.
and he didn't even die though. That's the issue. Is he was just like off doing church stuff instead. Because also Hamlet wasn't that sickly necessarily. Like everyone's saying he was, but you guys saw him. Wasn't that sickly. He was just tired as fuck. He looked like Miles. So tired of everyone's shit. So, which is fair when you're slowly going insane. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I guess with Solomon then, did we ever get confirmation why he was genuinely insane at that point? Like, was it because of the
Egg.
egg's influence? Was it because of something Hamlet had done? Was it um just like a bunch of different things?
He pretty much harnessed a power of the fake egg and went kaplooey because
Oh
he's
well.
crazy scientist man. So yeah, he's like, "Oh, I have the power of the egg. How is Hamlet not going insane? Because you know, you're not supposed to have that power." And he just fucking snapped.
Sucks to suck for Solomon then, I guess.
Yeah. Doosucky.
Good, he deserves it.
He did. But yeah.
Hurting Haribo.
Oh yeah. Also, what happened? Did you actually say what the dagger did to Solomon?
You did take away his egg powers.
Yay! It worked.
Yeah, like you did actually take away his egg powers, which is why I think he then like fell asleep immediately. Just kind of laid there. If I'm correct. Because he didn't go to sleep until after you stabbed him.
And it
Right?
worked on. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, and then.
Yeah, I was like, I'm trying to remember.
Or no,
correctly.
no. He went to sleep after leaving the
Oh yeah, he went
the
to sleep
thing,
afterwards.
and then I stabbed him, and then.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but something happened,
Yeah,
but it wasn't clear.
correct. Yeah. Well, what
Another
else you think?
question, and I don't
Yeah.
remember what it was. Oh yeah, so the 4 year, I guess.
Ooh.
Um, that whole thing. Did we ever like? I know Haribo and Zaminiar kind of touched a little bit on Solomon, but what did like as far as Fromage and like the guys that were coming back in the future, like Janaya and all that, and
Mhm.
Solomon, did they know like I guess that we were going to get back together and essentially destroy the world or that kind of stuff?
Janaya
Or
did.
did they
Solomon didn't.
like would it have been prevented if Haribo and or I guess rather would it have been stunted a little bit if Haribo and Zaminiar hadn't teamed up to go after Solomon?
I don't think so, no, because at that point Solomon was still doing his own research and everything. So he was still doing whatever Solomon was doing at that time. So he hadn't even like gotten in power with the egg yet. So he was just still researching stuff. So he didn't really know of anything going on. Janaya knew what was going on because, well, in her own timeline, she's been through it. She was in Hamlet's shoes. So she had already kind of known like who you guys were in a sense. Because, in one
Yeah.
life or another, you guys were her protectors. So, who also failed. Hence why, her timeline doesn't exist anymore. But so she was aware of everything going on pretty much from the beginning. She also
So
knew she wasn't supposed to be there. And she's like, how am I here? So,
and then was there any way that Haribo could have found out like what the colors he like the auras he was seeing meant?
no. There was really nothing there for him. There was just colors associated with people. It was also going off of there was this one crazy dude that I went to college with. Ironic pull. He was like in the military, and for whatever reason, when he was in art school, he was like, "Yeah, no, we learned about people's auras and like colors around them and what it means, and like color theory essentially, and like what the colors mean." And so certain people just
Yeah.
gave off auras. So it was essentially pulling from that. So the colors naturally didn't really mean anything. It was just, oh, that person's purple. Cool.
That
But as
person's
like
purple.
Yeah.
yeah, like other than that, like the color itself didn't mean anything. It was more so if they had an aura, it was like, oh, they're a part of this whole tradition and this whole ordeal.
I
They're a part of the whole like situation and stuff with the Pochel and the Blessed One. They were essentially all with that tail. So having an
Okay.
aura was ultimately the big portion of it. The colors never meant anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense, especially considering Clara.
Yeah.
Ugh, she's the worst.
She is.
Mhm.
She's a
Did you have
badass.
any plans to keep her like in our particular session like
Yeah.
longer, or was she essentially supposed to be a catalyst and she's in the cursed egg?
She is actually in Project Egg, is where she was originally from. So like way, way techie biometrics future. Um, and even then though, like that's where she originated into, but her original timeline, like when she was first made, that was the first campaign she was in. But ultimately her
Ah,
original timeline is just from I think the closest one would have been Janaya's, like based off the timeline of it itself. She would have been like originally from the ye olde times, but her first actual appearance was in Project Egg, and from there she was just in her own little cult sect. But she was pretty much a catalyst here. She jumped here, was like, all right, time to stir the pot. because I'm a fucking villain. It stirs her pot and gets the fuck out because she can. She could just hop, skipping, and jumping around.
Fair
So,
enough.
Yeah. She used that dimension door quite literally.
No kidding. Dang.
So, yeah.
She banished herself.
Pretty much. She's a
Mhm.
badass though. Like in Project Egg, like ultimately you realize she's actually a really good person, but she
Oh.
just has really bad tendencies to do bad shit. But ultimately she's considered a red herring. And
Why do I not believe that?
not gonna spoil anything further. Who's to say she's not in your guys' upcoming campaign?
Oh
So
no.
yeah. Which I'm very excited for. I will say, while you're going to be in the world of Egg, you're going to be in a much different side of it that I think will be more suited to the party and the characters. And I'm very excited for the dichotomy of it because it's going to be what I have planned is good. It's really good. And I'm already excited for it. And I'm like, damn, let's just start the next one. And I'm like, I can't. I need to take the break to sit there and actually get all the artwork done ultimately and then write out everything. So,
Fair.
but as much as I want to just jump right fuck in because it is such a cool side of things that I've always wanted to do in a campaign. And now we get to do it. And I'm like, ooh, excited. But yeah. I think you guys will be excited as well. But yeah.
I can't wait. It sounds fun.
Yeah. I'll give you a hint. It'll be on the dark side of things. There.
I'll play a
Of
good
the
character.
Yay.
moon.
I'm just gonna say it'll be on the dark side of things.
It'll be on the moonstones, man. We're gonna evolve some Pokemon.
Does this mean
What
of
are you talking
your
about?
egg puns are gonna be burnt?
Ooh, maybe.
Oh,
I'm scrambling it about. What can I say? I thought it was funny. Yeah. But
Boo.
yeah. Yeah. But no. What else do you guys have? Or are you done? This is it. This is the final dish it all out.
I
I
think
can't
that's,
think of
Mm.
any more questions.
I think that's all I had.
Yeah. Chrysalis, do you have any questions?
Uh, I don't think so.
Yeah. Wow. 0.
Mm. Mm.
0's drunk and gone.
No, I'm
That
not
sounds about
drunk.
right.
I didn't even have enough to get drunk earlier. I've been sober for like the last hour. Um,
The last hour.
God.
yeah. I don't really know. I don't know if there is anything I gotta ask anymore. We definitely answered pretty much everything I didn't think you would answer. But
How long?
fuck yeah, no, yeah, I got nothing.
Wow.
Alrighty. Well,
This whole thing was really in depth though, Tori. Like the world you built is nutso.
oh yes.
Hmm.
Oh yes. Indeed. It is. It's wild. As this has been I World of Egg in 2018, I think. And it's now had 3 campaigns worth of storyline and content, 2 of which never got to fully finish, and then this one, which did. This is my first campaign that had an official ending actually play out. And I'm like, wow, I did it. And it's such a surreal moment. I remember when I sat down to write like my final bits on it and like officially getting it on paper, quote unquote Google Doc, or getting it like tweaking it out and doing like final stuff, I was like, holy shit, this is happening. This is happening. Like I cried. Dead ass.
Aw.
Cried while I was working on like some of the final art pieces for it and everything. I was like, holy shit, this is huge. Because I was also then just like already at this point, I have it written out. I'll everything soon. Like all of this fucking promo art shit that I had to do. And I was like, God. It was insanity. And I remember like sitting down writing it and like looking at the final art piece. And I was like, you know what? I wanted this to turn out differently, but I feel like that completely encapsulates exactly how I felt about the campaign as well. Because writing it had so many twists and turns of like, there was a whole moment when this is when I realized and sat down and rewrote the whole thing. The session before last, so the first session we had in December. I remember I sat down and reworked everything, you know, the session before our final session. And because there was what I had planned, because I, for whatever reason, thought December was like 6 weeks long. Like, and I was like, oh, we have like 4 more sessions. And then I look and there's only like 1 session left. And I was nixing so much of this. There was actually a whole, instead of just immediately going to Hamlet's wedding and pushing through all of that, there was actually a whole thing where you guys were gonna sit down and have to try to choose Harold's wife. There was a whole like essentially dating simulator portion that I had written out, and you guys would have been having to help Harold choose. Ultimately, that would have never ended, but you guys, it turns into another murder mystery. I wanted to have one more murder mystery because I was like, all right, each arc has had one. We gotta continue the trend, obviously. So yeah, there was a whole extra 2 fun shenanigan things, and then I saw that we only had 1 session left, and I was like, there's no way we're gonna get through everything, solve the murder mystery. We won't finish this until May of next year, if not trying to do that. I wanted to end it at New Year's and leave it in 2022. I was like, that seems like a good cutoff time. There's no really other cutoff time except for, you know, like the 2-year anniversary of the campaign. And I was like, no, I don't want to do that because then I don't want to take a 2-month break during the summertime because then I know I'll just be swimming and doing God knows what at that time. So I was like, I'd be too busy to plan another campaign. So I'd rather do it in the cold months when I'm stuck inside anyways.
Fair.
And right before my birthday. So woo. Woo. And so yeah, there was a whole extra like murder mystery that got nixed that I was really excited about. There was a whole dating simulator, which we all know. I am notorious for loving dating simulators. So it may or may not be in my top 5 games. Sorry if y'all haters of Hatoful Boyfriend. But
Hatoful
absolute-
boyfriend.
absolute heathens if you are. Yeah, no. So there was a whole lot of fun stuff that got nixed right at the very end. And just the whole journey. And then it encapsulated into the final piece as well. And I was like, damn, this final art piece is huge. And yeah. It was fun. It was fun.
It looks
I've-
cool.
Thank you. I've had fun. I hope everyone enjoyed the campaign and playing it. And that's ultimately
a
what
lot of
matters most.
fun. I'm gonna be really sad to not play Haribo anymore. He's definitely been like my my most favorite character I think I've ever made.
Yeah.
I like
Coolest.
Turbo too.
My
Haribo was
little
cute.
Haribo.
Haribo definitely went down as my favorite character in the campaign.
Like,
Yeah.
Who was everyone's favorite character? Just in general.
Turbo.
Yeah.
ooh.
Hmm.
I liked Winslow.
Winslow was good.
Winslow had just really key moments that were just like out of left field.
I'll never get over no, and that saved us.
Yeah.
Like that will be like go down in D&D history for me.
Yeah, really. From now on, before fighting anything, just go no and see if it works.
Yo. Solid.
We'll
Solid.
fight you. No. Oh, okay.
I didn't know that was an option. Holy shit.
Pacifism is always an option.
Yeah, Zero, we're playing Undertale
No,
right
like,
now.
imagine-
Sparing is an option.
Yep.
I just imagine like that being said on the battlefield, like, and Haribo goes out, no, not doing it. Or Winslow goes out and he's like, nuh-uh, we're not doing this. And like a whole battalion of people just, oh, you're right. Like, they all throw
Okay.
down their weapons and start going home. And never thought of it like that. And one guy in the background's like, that was an option. My people died in the last battle.
Wild. Yakuza.
Oh,
Well.
So Haribo, I kid you not though, like making Haribo was probably the dumbest thing I think I've ever done.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever talked about character creation on the whole
Nope.
start. I don't think we ever spoke about it.
mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
I feel like
What
we did
talking
at the like intermission thing.
Not
Not in great
in
detail,
depth.
but some mentioning of it.
Haribo. I literally just saw a pack of Haribo gummy bears and just like, that's it. That's my character.
I thought you were having some difficulty, and then you saw them, and they were like oh, I know.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened.
I
Like I had my curse before I had the character.
was just refreshing my knowledge of demonology because of the show Hell of a Boss, and
Oh my god.
because I wanted to be like, if I hear a demon's name, I want to know if it's being done right, and because that show usually does a good job. And I came across the mini art. Hey, just like he seemed perfect for the role. He's of the 4 principal kings of hell, he's like the only one that doesn't have anything written about him, and he was beaten by a dude named Solomon, or sealed by a king named Solomon. So I was like, oh fuck it, let's just take that. He has amnesia. Take that. Give it to Tori and tell her to do some stuff with it. And that was pretty much my entire backstory. I told her to have her way with it. Most of his character was like just going off the fact that he was some poor thief who didn't remember who he was, and all he remembered was like someone helped him, he ripped them off, and now he's gonna go find the person that knocked him out. Like I built him up from being that, and every grew a little more.
Aw.
Yeah, Miles
So
is.
many-
He was
Miniar
actually
was
supposed
cool.
to. He was supposed to. I told Tori this, but I figured like this could be on stream, and give Miles his credit. But Zeminior was supposed to be like a whore. He was, and you probably could notice it a little bit with the fact that even though he didn't mess around behind Martha's back, he did act like he was going to a few times. When initially Martha was the first person he flirted with, but when he got teleported back for the first time after you guys got back from the first mission, Miles was absolutely right. He was deflecting his situation off of Martha. And Martha's reaction made Zeminior go with it, and it ended up turning him into a complete than he was ever supposed to be.
Wow.
That
Yeah.
happens in my Sims games all the fucking time. I'm like, all right, you're gonna be a whore, and then they just meet their soulmate like right out the gate, and I'm like, well, never mind. I guess you're not gonna be a whore. You're gonna be a family man. Go for it. So, yeah.
So yeah, Miles, good call. Good call. You totally called that shit.
I don't even remember it, but I'll take the credit.
Yeah.
Seems like a very Miles thing to do.
It was like It was so big. It was so far in the beginning that, like, at the time, I think the discussion was immediately like either throw me in jail or get me killed because you guys thought I just abandoned the mission.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, we didn't
And
even talk
Miles
about
wasn't.
the Ace Attorney characters.
Miles wasn't even like trying to hold back the fact that he was just trying to get into. No, he's trying to get out of this.
Mm.
He's just lying right now.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, you mean after the time you couldn't make it and you had to have the makeup session?
Yeah,
Yeah, Miles was big about that. About you
Yeah.
that
were
was.
always shirking duty.
Miles gave me the most shit every time he went into the other side, and I'm pretty sure some of that was even after he had gone to the other side.
No, Miles only went after the time skip.
Oh,
Yeah. Miles only ever went once, I think. Maybe twice.
I think it
He
was
went
just the time
twice.
in the time
Yeah.
skip. I don't
Yeah, it
think there was
it was-
anything outside of the time skip.
No. Nope. Miles did not have a lot of privy knowledge to Kefi or anything of that nature.
that's probably what made him so cynical of Zeminiar the entire time.
Nah, no.
I think Zeminiar was the reason he was critical of Zeminiar the
Yeah.
entire time.
I mean, yeah, but like, I do remember specifically like the whole Gilly thing where like all three of us were trying to convince Miles, and Miles was just like, "No, why would this happen?" And we're just like, "We're telling you why it's happening."
Yeah, but why
Yeah.
would he trust you? Especially Zemeliar of all people.
Exactly.
Dude, Gilly's
I-
death was so difficult.
Gilly's death
Alright,
was
it's
so
the fucking
sad.
thing.
Every now and again, I come across this meme on Facebook that Zero shared, and it's I think it's Matt Mercer on a merry-go-round, and it's essentially just
Oh yeah,
about a DM, about how a DM is making you love this NPC character only to like kill it
Kill
off.
him.
And then my
Mhm.
comment originally is just Gilly, because it was like the week after that happened.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then it happened again.
Yep. Dude, anytime I kept forgetting. This has to be my own running dark humor joke. Every single time we had a ship scene, I had to use the most sad ship photo of like when you guys were taking her body back. And I was like, God, I need to get a different ship photo, and just always forgot. And I was like, all right, back to this real sad scene on this ship. And I was like, damn, it just brings it back every time. And I was like, damn, that's hard. That was harsh. But nah, that had to be my favorite. Like from a DM stand, pivotal moments for me. That was really fun because I knew what was going to be that missed session and how that was all going to line up. So when I had the one-on-one with Zero, I was like, I know how this is about to play out. So that session after that she fell was probably one of my favorite sessions because I knew how this was all going to play out on a player's side of things, especially with Zero. I was like, this is about to be good. This is about to be juicy. I was there for it as a DM. I was like, this is great.
You broke Zeminiar so many fucking times. Like I think the peak breakage of Zeminiar's character was when we got teleported to the Silent Hill the second time.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh no, it was the first time. It was in the with the fucking everything was taxidermy. That like I
Yeah.
think I spent majority of the following episode just going.
Yeah. Oh man, Berry Valley was always a really odd place, like even when creating the map and everything. Like I wrote Berry Valley in that was supposed to be such a plain, like farming town that's riffing on like Ronald and McDonald.
Yeah.
And then even in both campaigns that it was really a part of, which would be like the cursed egg in this one, both times there's like weird women just disappearing, leaving. There's always like a lot of weird, just like mystery stuff with it and like cult wise. So it was really fun to bring that back and let that still be a thing even in your guys' timeline because it was before the cursed egg. So, because this was the prequel. So it was really
So-
fun to do that.
At the very beginning, I remember we had a choice to either go to the castle or go to Berry Valley.
Yeah.
Were there any plans at having us go to Berry Valley in the very beginning, or was it just like, oh hey, we'll go to Berry Valley, and then it was going to be like some NPC comes along and just like, oh, they want you here immediately, that kind of thing?
You guys were definitely gonna like I think I remember planning it out like where you guys had an opportunity to go to where that side quest would have been. You would have had like pretty much a beginning tutorial side quest there before going. Oh no, no, no,
Okay.
no, no, no,
It
no,
was our
no.
choice to go with either
Yeah.
Harold or with
Or
Gilly.
Gilly.
One would have
Yeah,
taken
that
us
was
to Berry Valley, one would have taken us to the other place. And
correct.
yeah.
Yes. So ultimately it was just deciding on who you were going to go with. So there was two different side quests essentially with that. So the one either that you went with Harold or going with Gilly, and there was a actual like small little murder mystery already happening there as well, which
Ooh.
would have led further into what ultimately developed into what it did. So yeah. So you would
Okay.
just went with her and done like a bunch of fun little like fest quests slash murder mystery stuff with her.
Aw.
Yeah. But y'all went with Harold and, destroyed some moles or ogres, whoever the fuck they were.
But there's bullets.
Oh yeah, bullets. That's right. I always forget what they're called. I had a pet one in another campaign too.
Aw.
Yep. But yeah,
Mhm.
so ultimately there wasn't anything too crazy with like that session, but there was it definitely would drop some seeds. Berry Valley is always just a weird place that just ends up being like very crime driven for some reason. And it's just like always isolated. Like it gives me I remember when I was like thinking of like everything going on cuz each town has like its own references. Some of them do. Like Waflor is just like basic standard like literally like Skyrim River Run kind of bullshit. Like that's always the tutorial town usually. And then like Isail I think was always just like a random shipping town, like just fisherman's town. There was nothing too crazy about that. But like Berry Valley, and then like obviously the three major cities were like obviously just major cities. But I know Berry Valley specifically, and then Greasor, which I think is the one for the graveyard town. The graveyard one was actually based off of where I was pulling reference and like how I always envisioned it was very there's also that one town in Skyrim dying. I forget the name of it. I think it's Dawnstar maybe. Like everyone's like dying there, but also there's this opening scene in like Dark Souls where you're just like in this fucking graveyard and you're there for fuck's sake forever with all these skeletons. It's like one of the first places I think you're in. And I remember watching my ex play it and I was like, "Huh. This is very similar to what I've always envisioned that town to be like. Good to know." And so definitely was pulled from that. But Berry Valley, for whatever reason, I was like, oh, let's have another like real life, poll. And I was like, huh, what are some like real life crazy small town like towns that had occurred? And I was like, oh, Jonestown. Jonestown was terrible. Like like there's that. Jonestown was a terrible time, but how can you mix that into like D&D stuff? Like and just looking at it from that lens of like, how would you create a community that's very wild in that sense? And I was like, all right, let's but I have to keep it breakfast food themed because that's my whole campaign. And I was like, well, McDonald's is always fighting with, everybody in
Everybody.
society. So I was like, what if I just pull a riff on like also fast food competition, but with like some dark cultist activity going on. So I mixed essentially Jonestown and McDonald's together, and that creates Berry Valley. Ultimately. Like, it was a really weird,
Nuts.
wild time of trying to figure out how I would describe the towns. And I was like, this is insane. But yeah. And then Cuckoo, I think I pulled a lot from Assassin's Creed, like some of the original ones. Then Benedict was just normal, big town. Same with Florentine. They were just big, normie towns. So, and then there's some towns I don't even think you guys ever went to. Like, there's a small city in area near Cuckoo that I don't even remember the name of right now. I know it starts with a P. It's like Pano. Never even went there. So, I don't think you guys ever went to that town. I mean, there's really nothing there anyways, but yeah.
Just a desert.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like a desert town. Like with 2 buildings, essentially. Like, there was never ever anything there. So, yeah. Good times. Good times. It was fun. I know I had fun as a DM.
We had
So.
fun too.
Good.
Me too. It was a very, very, very fun.
I'm glad. I'm glad because it was a long one. And I mean, that's what I do. Because now, in these 2 months, other people could do short little one-offs and DM and have fun. And then I can play instead of running.
Exercise your creativity
Yes.
in other ways.
And I think we had
Neat.
plans for that.
Yeah, so there might be even some shorter D&D sessions in the future. But
for now, I think I'm gonna switch to the. Are we ending soon?
I think we will be, guys. I think this is a good spot to end it because holy cow,
my
say
heart.
goodbye. The last time you guys will see that screen with Miles on it.
Well,
Wild.
not making these
But-
screens is so much effort.
Do you guys know how going to keep track of what kind of D&D sessions we'll be doing? It's pretty easy if you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and I guess TikTok. We gotta fit that one in there somehow.
Boo!
I don't know how.
Are Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok the same thing now?
No. Instagram and TikTok are very similar, but the same thing can be said with Instagram and YouTube, or TikTok and YouTube. It's very strange. And then Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same company. It's a hot mess. You have things mixing in everywhere. You have YouTube trying to be bigger than what it is, even though it's still pretty big. Which, by the way, you should also follow our YouTube channel. We have things coming in seemingly every week. Tori did mention some stuff YouTube exclusives for our next campaign, which is very, very interesting. We do also have YouTube exclusives already going up there in terms of games and stuff, but this is completely different. You also want to check out and follow our Discord because that's how you're going to suggest games to play, one shots to do, and maybe sometimes we'll put out an ask to see if you guys want to play D&D with us. I don't know how it's going to work. I just come up with stupid ideas. Sometimes you guys are the ones that implement them. That happens. I don't know how sometimes these things work out. Anyway, I think that's it. Definitely come by. I think, Zero, you said you're streaming the DLC for Resident Evil on Thursday?
Yes.
Yee.
Wow.
And then on Friday, Zero and Tori are gonna start in on the forest again. It's gonna be a fun time. You should check it out.
Absolutely. We'll
But
be there.
I've said my 5 cents. Does anyone else have anything to say?
Not me.
Well, good night, everyone, and I can't wait to see you back in the world of egg in a couple months.
Yeah, thank you to that one guy and Chrysalis for participating too. We
Yep.
appreciate you both, and we will see you guys again
Anon.
on Thursday.
Bye.
Woo!